if we want to simplify this expression that has fractions within a fraction, all these exponents, and a negative exponent, one of the first things we need to know is that the negative exponent, y to the negative 2, is the same as 1 over y squared. So, keeping that in mind, when we have this y to the negative 2, we know that that is eventually going to be moved to the bottom of this fraction. So here we can see the expanded version. So on the top, the x to the third is x times x times x. The y to the negative 2 is now y to the positive 2, but it has moved to the bottom. And that is here. I used a different color to highlight those. Then z to the 7th, and so we have 7 z's. And on the bottom, x to the 5th, and then y to the 4th, and times z, which is the same as z to the 1 power. So now we can see how some of these can cancel. So we can cross out that x over x, x over x, and so forth, z over z, and that looks like it's all we can cancel. So we're left with negative 1/4 times z to the 6th power over 2/5 x squared y to the 6th. And we can also see that if we look at the x's here, we have more x's on the bottom than the top. So if we were to do 5 minus 3, that leaves 2 x's on the bottom. For the y's, we could say 4 minus negative 2. So 4 minus negative 2, which is the same as 4 plus 2, and that's 6. And we have y to the 6th on the bottom. And for the z's, we have more on the top, so 7 minus 1 leaves z to the 6th power on the top. So now we need to deal with these two fractions. So on the top, we have negative 1/4 times z to the 6th. That would be the same as negative 1 times z to the 6th over 4. And on the bottom, this would be the same as 2 times x squared times y to the 6th over 5. So now everything is in fraction form on the top, and everything on the bottom is also in fraction form. So we have one big fraction divided by another big fraction. So now all we have to do is, instead of dividing by a fraction, we multiply by its reciprocal. So now we have negative 1 z to the 6th over 4 times 5 over 2x squared y to the 6th. And we can just multiply straight across. So 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 times z to the 6th over 4 times 2, so 8 times x squared times y to the 6th. And that is our answer.